Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Valen, and this is This mod is made by iChun, sunekaer. These guys have pretty much made a crazy end boss mod, and we're going to get into how you can basically make this, fight some of them, some of the strategies, and, well, hopefully ways that you might be able to survive. But before that, I need to make sure and thank one of our patrons. Thank you, Combat Ronald, for your support. It's much appreciated. So, as you can see, I have kind of like a weird setup. I'm wearing all sorts of modded Minecraft gear and whatnot. I'm going to try and keep this as vanilla related as possible, but this mod is not basically made for vanilla style play. You can defeat the first one. I guess you could potentially beat the second one, because there are two different versions of these bosses in vanilla, but if you beat the second one, then you're pretty hardcore. Anyway, I have some things to help me show you guys what is going on, and I'm going to explain what those are just briefly so that you can understand what is negating damage and helping me out through this, because I am going to be in survival mode. I don't have any kind of draconic gear going on because that's just a little bit too crazy. But I've got a Mantle of the Stars, which is basically a really good chest plate that gives an effect when infused that will negate damage. As you can see, there are these little like glowing globes floating around my body. Those are 3 hits I can take that will just have the damage negated, whether it be fall damage, whether it be being hit by a strong attack or whatever. So those will just, and they slowly regenerate over time once they've been used up. On top of that, I've got some Protection 5 gear because I'm also wearing a Resplendent Prism. If I take this off, it turns into Protection 4 gear. I also have a Resonating Wand of Armara. What this does is it's basically a magic version of a shield when I hold it up. And it will create kind of like this. Actually, let me not use my bow. It'll create this very starry field around me. What that means is that I will basically just be having an unbreakable shield in front of me, more or less. So that's how that functions. So things that you'll probably need are going to be a bow. You don't need a melee weapon. You do need to be able to hit these creatures, but you will need a bow, preferably as strong as you can make it, because this is going to be your damage dealing item here. I have one with power 5 on it. I'm also very specced up in astral sorcery levels. So to give an example, these little guys here from the mod are basically target dummies and display damage that is done to them. You can see I'm doing a lot of damage. So I'm going to do like 1 or 2 shots and I'll probably kill these creatures. But that's only when I decide that I need to start attacking them. In the meantime, though, you will need a strong bow. This is going to be your biggest asset at this point. Your gear will probably help you survive a bit, but you'll be taking so much damage unless you have things that will negate damage. You might have some problems if you don't have it, or at least something. I recommend, if you have the option, to have some healing potions on your hotbar, the kind that you can just throw real quick. You're not going to have enough time to drink things. Some food out of desperation, if you need the healing for it, is a good idea. Make sure you have lots of ammunition. These guys have a lot of health. And, of course, you're going to want as heavily of enchanted gear as you can get. In this case, Protection 4, Diamond Chest, Diamond Armor. On top of that, having some feather falling or some way of negating fall damage is really going to be key. In case you get caught off guard and flung into the air. Those that have faced the Ender Dragon before, well, they may have been bounced around once or twice. That's a possibility here as well. As well as, it doesn't hurt to have either a few shields, because if you get caught by one of these laser rays that come at you, it will just destroy a shield. A permanent shield of some sort, or one that has Unbreaking on it at least. You might even want to have a couple that has Unbreaking on it just in case, because when these attacks come at you and you get stuck in one of these attacks, you are going to want to have a way to survive it. Otherwise, you're just going to get killed right away. Things that you need in order to spawn the first boss is going to be 8 obsidian and 1 block of diamonds. On top of that, you will need an egg. For your second boss, you just need a dragon egg, so you will have had to have killed the Ender Dragon. And you can throw one of these 2 items on here. Do not throw the dragon egg on there lightly, as you will summon the Chaos Ender Chicken. In this case, you just want to fight a regular Ender Chicken, So you throw an egg on there. Now remember, I am totally kitted up. I can basically destroy this thing, and as you notice, there is bedrock all around me. Now, in the case of the regular ender chicken, I could encase it in this, if it was like full walls and stuff like that, in bedrock. Using things like reinforced obsidian or other blast-resistant items meant to withstand attacks by the wither, still will not hold in ender chickens, or the mighty ender chickens. They are very fierce when it comes to that. Now, in this case, this was solid walls all in here, and a solid ceiling. I actually poked a few holes just for some light around the edges, but yeah, it got destroyed by the Chaos version, the one that you summon with the dragon egg. So be aware that they will break through bedrock if trapped, but otherwise they won't break through the floor of bedrock. They'll pretty much keep it intact. Yes, this is a flat world. I've been experimenting. And these guys are more or less here just to show, some of the damage that I was taking. Now, there are several things that these chickens will do. But first, let's actually summon our first mighty ender chicken. Throw it on top of there, and you'll start seeing the bar start increasing. And it will eventually summon a great ender chicken. It will take a little bit of time for it to summon in. You'll see the bar come up. And then it will actually hatch into an egg with legs, which then you can help it hatch, but if you don't do enough damage, nothing will happen. So you will actually have to help it along by cracking that egg, or just waiting. Now in this case, it already did its first attack, and that is where it starts charging at you. Ooh! And that's its second attack, where it shoots laser beams at you. Now, in this case, I'm using my resonating one in place of a shield so that I don't just get destroyed by that laser beam. It doesn't do a ton of damage, but if you get caught or you get flung in the air, it will completely just wreck you. It's easy enough to run away from it in most cases. Now, I do have auto step on, if only because I've already destroyed the mantle, or the ground here. And this is another one of its attacks here, where it will start shooting out different eggs. Now, you notice it has a force field around it. Currently, you can't injure it with any kind of ranged weapon. It will just bounce off of it. So what you need to do is just run up to it and smack it. That will then make it break the shell, and you need to run away, because it doesn't like that, and it will charge at you and try and peck you straight away. Now remember, this is just your first level chicken, and often getting out of sight of it will make you temporarily safe, but not permanently. It might even get away and start killing like nearby villages and stuff, so you just want to be a bit cautious about that. Now you can create some like little areas for you to be protected, from this guy if you wanted, if he's like chasing at you, but as you can see, the explosions will still get through. And if he decides to shoot at you, and I'm actually using my resonating one, let's actually switch it up. I will put a shield out. Ouch. And that's a good reason why feather falling will hurt. Will save you from some damage. But if he just stares at you for a moment, he might charge, and you'll start hearing him make that rah 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 noise, as Slowpoke does. Otherwise, he might do other attacks. So just make sure to constantly keep moving. Always try and keep shooting your arrows at him. I'm going to shoot off to the sides just so I'm not actually hitting him. And if you start being shot at, make sure to raise your shield just to prevent some of the damage. Hopefully you don't get flung too far into the air. That is something that can happen. Oof. Oof. And he can just run through, but his accuracy isn't exactly the best. If you try getting up close, and you're probably going to get run over. On top of that, he might start flapping his wings and brush you aside. But you might get lucky enough that you can get in some good swings with a good melee weapon if that's where your specialty is. Just remember that when you get really close, you are very open to attacks from this guy. Let's turn it back to day so you guys can see what's going on. These bombs that he shoots out are in most cases lethal. They usually take out half of a normal health bar, if not a complete health bar, depending upon if multiples blow up nearby. So you don't want those near you at all. And you're going to want to make sure to avoid as many attacks as possible. Just constantly keep on running around and shooting the occasional arrow at him while you're doing so. Because if you end up holding still too long, well, one, he's going to target you. Or if you're hiding, he might not see you anymore and decide to leave you alone. Now, as you can see, that one shot from the arrow just pretty much almost took out his entire health bar, but that is extreme circumstances. Power 4 bow would only take out probably about this much. I've got it highlighted on the screen so that you can see it won't take up, or Power 5 bow would take up about this much on the screen. Oof! And that usually takes out, as you can see, about half your health. Now, he took out all of my damage negating abilities there. And let's just finish him off at this point. There we go. And with this, you'll gain about 85 levels worth of XP. It's pretty darn crazy. Now, I do have clumps also installed so that I don't get overflowed with all the little XP bubbles that are going to pop out. But it's tremendous how much XP you can get from this guy. And he may be like hooked up with different drops and whatnot. In the configs, you can actually have it so that to drop that force field that we saw earlier, in order to start being able to shoot him with a bow, you would have to attack him with something of your choice. You can actually specify that in the configs. So in this case, it's just anything. You just need to hit him with a melee attack. You can actually have it so that special items or whatnot are used in order to drop that force field, thus kind of gating the this chicken from being attacked or killed in some way, shape, or form. Now, in this case, I also did neglect to mention I've got a gluttony charm as well, so I can quick eat if needed. I mean, I've got the tons of protection on my armor and whatnot, and I was still getting hit a bit even though I was messing around with him. Now, there is something else to note, is that, let's get another egg. There we go. We're going to summon another one of these in here. And yes, he can destroy these items. With his laser blasts and whatnot, he'll most likely not destroy obsidian. But if he gets trapped or stuck, he will actually break through any kind of reinforced material with a large explosion and do a tremendous amount of damage. We're talking like 80 points of damage if you're really close to him or something. Now in this case, let's help him get out of here. And I'm actually going to get another wand so that I can better illustrate what is going on here. There we go. I have the resonating wand from Evitus. What this allows me to do is, basically kind of float in air where I'm at. Now, hopefully he's going to actually hit me. A little bit. Here comes. There we go. Yep. See, now, even if I wasn't holding on to this wand, yep, the shield that I have is likely to start being destroyed because when you're above him or flying, he will target you very accurately and, in fact, do a lot of damage. As you can see, my shield is completely destroyed. So just holding that up negated a lot of damage. But yeah, that's not always something to work with. Instead, I'm going to use my Armara wand, which acts as a shield, and drop down and probably hurt myself in the process, and hope that my damage is negated by my armor that I'm currently wearing. So with this, I can actually just show you guys that currently it is just something that will shoot randomly on the ground if you're at regular ground level. If you're above him, he will start shooting very accurately. So flight is something to be very cautioned very much, because you're going to get thrown up really far. How high am I? Oh my gosh, 264. Okay, that's a good drop. Let's go visit. Okay, yeah, that didn't quite work out as I thought it might. Anyway, let's get down here. I'll finish him off, and then we can kind of switch out to the next Ender Chicken. So I do recommend you make yourself some kind of bunker. Is usually just a pretty good idea so that you can have something to retreat to and hide behind if you don't have the option of using like a shield or something like that that can hold up to the durability and stress that it might entail. But it's not necessary because they might also run away from it or just destroy the ground underneath it or whatever. Using obsidian is usually a pretty good idea just to start with, but as you can see, he'll destroy the diamond block if he's left in this area. So let's get the next level, this one here. Now, he'll probably have a conversation with you. He does all the same attacks as the first one, where he does like the charge, clearing area if you're nearby. He'll also kind of flap his wings if you're underneath. He does laser beams, as you saw before, and will specifically be precise, accurate laser beams if you're flying above him. But he also, his force field that he has will kind of replenish as well. And just placing this, as you see, doesn't do anything. You need to actually throw it down, and then it starts working, which means this one is just kind of, there we go, just teleported elsewhere. It will summon in a Chaos Chicken. Now, I'm going to fast forward a little bit because there's a little bit of story to it, and that way you guys can experience it for yourself. But don't take this guy lightly. He's definitely a boss to be reckoned with. Okay, yeah. So, it's a pretty awesome music going on with it, actually. Now, here's the thing. These here are very lethal and will pretty much explode and almost instantly kill you in most vanilla settings. Now, the fact that I've got modded armors allows me to survive this. So it's quite a bit to worry about. And you can see I'm not actually able to hit him because he's got his force field up and he's already replenished it. I had hit it early on at the beginning. Oof. Oh, see, now he felt trapped and therefore he did a large explosion area. Get close enough, hit this, shoot him, run away, and hopefully survive. Ow, he just ran over me. I would have died from that running over damage that he does, because everything is pretty much doubled. He's got a lot more health, he's got a lot more damage that he does, his shields will replenish over time. Whoa! And he's got heat-seeking dragon eggs that come at you and explode and almost instantly kill you. So, there's a lot to worry about with this guy. Thankfully, his accuracy is still not that good while you're on the ground. So your best bet is to run in, smack the shield, run away, and hope that you can get a shot or two in before he dies. If you have the option to fly, I recommend you do so, but just really low level, like just above the ground. That way it'll give you a little bit of better, faster speed and movement. At least I would hope it would. Now, if you're in something like a Visecraft ship, it's probably not going to be very practical to work with. In fact, it's just going to get destroyed and you'll lose it, most likely. Oh, here he comes. And then I can get a shot in and finish him off. Or he finishes me off. So there you have it. I mean, this guy, he's a little bit different from the first one in that he doesn't hold still and shoots eggs. He runs and shoots heat-seeking eggs, or player-seeking eggs, as the case may be. But that's pretty much it. He's going to have a lot more health, a lot more damage, a lot more dangerous. And you're going to want to be totally decked out before you take on that second one, if not the first. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I look forward to doing more videos for you in the future. If you did enjoy this yourself, please be sure to give a like, comment, subscribe, and as always, be sure to spread the mischief to everyone you could possibly think of. And don't forget that we're also streaming live on Twitch most days around 10 p.m. Check out the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.